Yes.
Mute. Hi, everyone. It is the Rockport Studio Tour. Today is Tuesday, June 16th, and we are here to hang out with Debbie Minns, who is our featured artist. And we have a lot going on here at the Rockport Center for the Arts. It is 3 weeks from the 4th of July weekend, and that in Rockport is Art Fest. Art Festival is a 52-year-long tradition, and it is huge. The entire town wraps around this event and is all about arts. I was watching a video today about the Rockport, the city of Rockport, and what we are doing. And it was like from 2013, 2014, and the economic impact is in the millions. So many people come from all around Texas to Rockport on 4th of July weekend to buy art, that we have an economic impact to all the business of millions of dollars. And so on June 30th, we are going to have a very special Rockport Studio Tour live, where we tell you what we're doing to make this year's event safe and sound for you and yours, and of course, everyone in Rockport. We are going to have 125 artists, including our very own Debbie Minns. She's our star today. She will be having a booth there, so make sure you check in and let her know that you watch our show. And maybe buy something, support, and give back to Rockport, as we are always in need of help, but not in a bad way, in a good way, that we like friends and we want you to visit and come along. So let's get started today. And I would like to share my screen real quick. Okay, let's see here if I can. Let's go right here. Okay, we're sharing my screen and I just want you to become a member. So how you support us, how you support the arts, how you support the Rockport Center for the Arts is by joining us and becoming a member. You can do so online. It's super easy. Memberships start at $50 for the entire year, and it supports programs like this and Art Festival, as well as by phone or by mail. And today we are going to be with Debbie Luce Minns. So Doc, before we get started, before I talk too much, too late, but can you just show us around, introduce, let's do the artist roll call.
Right on, right on. All right, so here we got, I got Barbara Sparkman.
Oops, hold on, right? I have to stop my screen. Hold on.
Yep, stop sharing.
I thought I did, but okay, I think I stopped sharing.
Yep,
did I?
You stopped sharing. Yep,
okay.
Looks like it. All right, so we got to unmute Barbara there. Hi, Barbara, how you doing? What you got going on? You're gonna have to unmute yourself. There we go. Maybe, there she is.
Okay.
Hey,
All
Barbara.
right, good deal. How you doing?
Great. I'm just been painting and enjoying the lovely weather here in Rockport. This is a painting I was working on last night, and I think it's finished, but as I picked it up, I got paint all over. So,
well, it's still drying. It's hot off the presses. That's beautiful.
Cold wax, so it won't take as long to dry since it has cold wax in it, but apparently it takes more than 12 hours. So
live and learn. So I just want to let everyone know that Barbara did contribute to our art auction, and one of her pieces will be in the art auction. You can have your very own Barbara Sparkman, and all proceeds go to the Rockport Center for the Arts, with a little cut going to the artist. So who do we have next?
All right, next I got Diane Johnson. Hi, Diane. How you doing? What you got working on? You hammering on anything today?
I am. I just put down my hammer so y'all can hear me.
Right on.
Last week I was working on
Oh, wow.
jig to make these, and here's the finished earring. So
those are great.
Aren't those fun? And
it was so fun to watch you take that wire and make it a link, and now to actually see it in jewelry.
I know it worked. My jig worked. And I was reading a book this past week, or listening to a book when I make jewelry, and it was in biblical Egypt times. And I ended up making these because I couldn't get my mind off of Egypt. So I think Cleopatra may have worn some just like these.
Cleopatra definitely came to mind.
Yeah, and then one more that a pair that it's not the Nike swoosh, but they look really great on the earlobe.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and
very
then
nice.
I'm making some bracelets, and that's what I'll be hammering on today.
Well, fantastic. And I believe Diane is also a donor to the art auction this year. And she will have,
Yes.
so you have a chance to buy your very own Diane Johnson jewelry on July 2nd during the art auction. It's online. You can get it from anywhere. If you're watching us, you can bid on an auction item on the online auction, and you can get them on July 2nd. Thank you, Diane.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next we have Juliana. She's here. I didn't see her earlier. Right on. Hi, Juliana. How you doing?
I'm all good. How are you doing?
Good. What you got going on?
So I have been working on some leather work at Diane's studio. She actually has the pieces that I've been working
Woo,
on.
let me put it on. I'll put the camera on her. Let's see what you've been making.
Look at
Thank you
these
so much.
awesome leather earrings she's been
Earrings.
making.
Put it on towards your ears so you can see what they would look like. Ah.
3 different petals, but that don't stop there. She has these. Some of them have chains on them.
Oh, nice.
And
you know what I like about leather earrings is they're so light.
Yeah,
they're
definitely.
really light and soft. Now she made this one right before she walked out the door. Isn't that cool?
So just one of them?
Yeah, just one. No, I'm just kidding.
Just
I
one.
couldn't find the other one. So this is like one.
It's around though. There are 2 to the tip.
Yeah, it's out here. And then right here, and she's just doing some really neat stuff. These are all
Way
scraps.
to go, Juliana.
Thank
All
you.
Right on.
scraps. Yeah.
All from scrap, so they're eco-friendly too. I like it.
Trying to make the most of our supply there.
Yeah.
Right on.
Wonderful. Excellent. And if any of these catch your eye, reach out to us. Let us know at the Rockport Center for the Arts that you were interested in Juliana's jewelry or Barbara's painting or Diane or any of their work. And we'll make sure that you get in contact with them. Who's next, Doc?
All right, next I got Elsa. Hi, Elsa. How you doing?
I'm
What you got
doing
going on?
great. I'm doing great. I have something that it's not recent behind me. It's a watercolor that I have from San Antonio Botanical Center. It's got a couple of chickens in it, but then on the frame, what I've done is I've taken the nice blue eggshells and created a mosaic. So both that
Fun.
so that piece and this, it's lots of fun. And this is a little bird's nest.
Wow.
I mean, I have to say, I really enjoy when artists take on the frame as well. And that's not just because I spent 5 years as a professional picture framer and kind of like that. It is because I really enjoy the composition. I love it when
It's
it
fun.
ties in. It really sets the piece off. And the fact that you're caring for what protects the art as well as the pieces, it's great. I love it, Elsa. Way to go.
It's lots of fun. Lots of fun. You get
Are
to
those
eat lots of
available?
eggs. I'm sorry.
Are those available for sale on your website?
Yes, these will be on the studio tour or they're available online. Actually, I don't think I have them on my website yet, but they will be.
But if you're interested in them, you can call
Just
her
call.
and she will sell them before
Absolutely.
they're even on there.
Absolutely.
Right on.
Absolutely. And I also have an image of the painting that I donated for the art auction.
Oh, please
You wanna
show
see
us,
it?
because you know what? I
Do you-
am pretty sure that
Get a
we
little
are
preview
using
here.
that. Yeah, look at that. Now look at my background. Very influential.
Yeah. This is from the studio tour in 2018 when I was in my other studio.
Wow.
So that painting will be available.
Well,
Right on.
fantastic. A little Rockport history with that.
Yes. Mhm.
And Elsa is also a donor to the art auction because, as I said, we focus on art and art tourism, and we want folks to come on down to Rockport. So buy your very own Elsa Matthews on July 2nd. Doc, we're going to skip
Awesome.
over you, I think, for the moment. We'll round out with you. Who's next?
Okay. I got, we're going Debbie Minns. That's who we're going to featured artist. And then next to that, I got Michael Coovey.
Hey,
And
Kubi, what's up?
How you doing?
Here, we're doing good. I want to show a piece that I just recently finished. It's a live edge mesquite table. Oops,
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's the top has turquoise in it as well. So it's about 18 inches high and 42 inches wide. And there's the pedestals are kind of interesting because there was a hole in one, and you could see I filled that with some sea glass, and there's a tree also that was struck by lightning, so you could see the burn part of the
Wow.
tree right here. And both the pedestal is also oops, I'm not showing that right. There you go. My finger was in front of the camera.
That is
the
gorgeous.
pedestal is also live edge. So, and I
Right
will be
on.
donating a clock for the auction as well. And that's, I don't know, let's see, it might be easier to see it from here. It's
And so, yep,
you go.
another Rockport Studio Tour artist supporting ArtFest. Thank you so much, Kuvi. That's gorgeous. Now, I was visiting Kuvi's studio before the shutdown, and he has a bunch of these clocks. So if you like this clock, and you know what, Father's Day is just around the corner. It's this weekend. Yeah, you may want to check that out. Give Kuvi a call or the Art Center, and we'll put you in contact with them. Thanks so
Yeah.
much, Kuvi.
Right
there's
on.
one there is a clock in the store too. Now.
Oh, so you don't even have to call them. You can just stop in at the Art Center and get that.
Right.
Wonderful.
Sweet.
Who's next?
All right, next to Kubi, we got Jean. Hi, Jean. How you doing? What you got going on? Yeah, got to unmute yourself there. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm working on the bigger picture. I'm working on the new art building with architects. Very exciting.
Yes.
Super.
Jean is one of our amazing volunteers in the community, and it's really helped the Art Center, especially since I've been here. I've only been at the Art Center a year, and she is a friendly face there all the time. And she is helping us. She helped us with the Performing Arts Center committee we did earlier this year, but we're getting ready. So any word on any progress on the building?
We're just about done with the kitchen configuration. It's going to be gorgeous.
Wonderful. Fantastic.
Super. All right.
Who is next?
All right, next we have Bonnie Poultry. I don't see a video of her.
Bonnie.
Proudy, I'm sorry.
That's all right, Bonnie. Can you unmute?
That.
I know Bonnie's having a little trouble with her video, but Bonnie, how about you unmute and just tell us what you're working on today?
She can hear. Yep.
Maybe.
She can hit the unmute button.
All right.
All right.
We'll come back to Bonnie.
We'll come back to Bonnie. All right. So next I got Debra Connor. How you doing? Deborah, how you doing?
Good.
What you got going on?
I'm doing really well. I'm working on some color work on some porcelain bowls, and it's I'll show y'all how I do that next Tuesday.
Yes,
Sweet.
she is going to be our featured artist next week. So we're going to go back into the clay studios, and she's going to throw for us. That's awesome. Great.
Right
Thank
on.
you so much, Barbara. And I love your little pet bird in the background. She's so friendly.
Yes, she's doing great.
Sweet.
My new studio partner, and of course Jax is laying there on the floor too. So
Jax is
never
her
a
friendly
lonely
German
moment here.
Shepherd.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right on. All right, next we have Vivian. Hi, Vivian. How you doing? What you got going on?
Fine. Well, this week my middle granddaughter turned 9, so we worked on pinch pots. This is her little bird that she made.
Oh, wow.
And then her mama made this apple jar.
Awesome.
I made a little pumpkin.
Sweet.
Oh.
That's all she wanted for her birthday, was to be able to work in clay with her grandmother. So how hard could that be?
Yeah,
Right
throw you into that briar patch, huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
Who's next?
All right, next from there I have Hugh. Hi, Hugh. How you doing?
Actually, this is Sarah.
Sarah. Okay. Okay.
I'm
So Sarah, you got to unmute yourself.
You can just wave. Just wave.
This way. There you go.
Oh, there you
Right on.
are. How are you doing, Sarah?
Doing great, thank you.
Good.
Wonderful. What's been going on in
Excited
your
to
neck
be
of the
here.
woods?
Well, Jean and I have been working on the art auction, which will occur on the 2nd of July. We're all very excited about that.
Yeah, very cool. And I'm not sure you were here earlier, but I'm going to say this probably 5 times during this episode, just to let people know. June 30th, our June 30th show is going to be dedicated to Art Fest. We are going to be on site, and Karen and Elena are going to zoom in and tell us what's happening out there. And so everyone can get an idea of how we are adapting Art Fest and making it safe and great for everyone. So, but the art auction is July 2nd, and that's what you've been working on, right? So
That's right.
And it's online and in person. It's going to be a fantastic event. Thank you so much, Sarah.
It is my pleasure always.
Thank you. Yeah. All right.
All
Next
right.
from there, I guess that's just, I guess that's
Back
everybody.
to you,
Just
Doc.
me.
What's going
Yeah.
on in your neck of the woods?
I've got a couple things working on. Right now, I'm working on this little chain. I don't know if y'all can see it. It's it's a
You
special
and
piece.
Diane both are working on chains.
So
And
this
that's
is actually going to
glass?
be attached to, yeah, it's all glass. You hear it. I don't know if you can hear all that, but
Yeah.
it's all glass. It's going to be attached to a anchor that I'm going to make out of glass. And then I'm also been working on
Oh.
some rings. So, but that's a special piece. The gentleman asked me from Australia last week, contacted me and asked me if I can make an anchor. And I said, sure, we can do that.
Oh, so he takes
Very
commissions,
exciting.
folks.
Yeah. On occasion, you know,
On
gotta do
occasion.
what you gotta do.
Oh, wonderful. Debbie Minns is our artist this week. And just before the show, we decided on a title for her show, which is Perfection is Overrated. So tell us a little bit about that. What did you tell me when we were talking about your show?
Well, I'm in a temporary workspace, and so I wanted to talk about working in less than perfect conditions. So I'm going to talk about some different things. I'm going to talk about my past studio a little bit, my future studio a little bit, and a little bit about how to make do when you don't have a studio.
Oh, that's great, because so many artists need that outlet of creativity and it really stifles them. So take it away, Debbie. Let's see what's happening.
Okay, so I've prepared about 5 minutes of content today, and I talk so slow, it should come out about right.
Oh,
So that was a joke. Okay.
I laughed.
Anyway, we'll
Nobody else
start
can laugh
by-
because they're all on mute.
That was great. That was funny.
Okay, so I'm going to start by showing a little bit of the work I've been doing since I moved back to the coast from the hill country. I started doing this fishing lure series, so I have a few of those.
Are those photographs?
These are pastel paintings. This
Wow.
is a 4x6 original pastel. This is a 9x12 original pastel, and then up here we have another 9x12 pastel.
What drew you to fishing lures?
Well, my husband and I fish a lot, and I'm looking at these little lures, and they're absolutely works of art in themselves. So I just thought, I need to be painting these. These are so cool. So I just started a series of them, and they're very challenging because they have little flecks of gold and silver and lots of color, lots of highlights. Like here, these are like little flecks of iridescent color, and they're quite. And this one is almost like a silver foil. So that's a challenging thing to do. Their little eyes are glass, and they're really kind of tricky, and the hooks are really cool to paint.
Yeah.
So anyway, so welcome to my less than perfect studio. This is our storage. So what we are doing is we're building a new house out in Lamar. We are going to have twice as much space as we have in this temporary location.
And just to let people know who aren't from around here, Lamar is just over, what bay is that?
Copano Causeway.
Copano Bay. It's technically Rockport, but it's a peninsula just over Copano Bay. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we're moving from the hill country. So we had about twice as much space there. So we have lots of hobbies. So this room that where my studio is right now is the storage space for all our hobbies, our workout equipment, my sewing equipment, our office stuff. It's just, but right now it's really been converted to a studio because I am going to be in the art festival this year. So I'm wanting to do some new work. So I sort of cleared it out, and it's not a guest bedroom now. It's an art studio. So if you'll come in, I'll show you a little bit more of my work here. These are some of my larger pastels. This is a hill country landscape. And then I have a couple of recent works. This is a little study. The whooping cranes were fishing with us one day, and I thought it was just a beautiful sight. So I did this little study, and then I did this larger painting. They're under glass, so they're a little bit hard to see, maybe.
They're coming through quite well. I mean,
Yeah,
Okay,
they look
cool.
really good.
I
It's
mean,
a little
we,
clear, but I think we all can see it.
yeah, I
Okay,
mean, we
up
see
here
that they're
we-
glass, but
Up here we have another little fishing lure.
those
got
are
them.
so cool. I bet fishermen that come to, because we have such a big sport fishing industry down here. I bet
Yeah.
a lot of folks really enjoy these.
Yeah. So in my temporary space here, I have my guest bed is set up as my work table. So these are all my pastels here. And as you can see, I have them in like little pencil holders, and I can, when I need to get them out of the way, I can just do this.
Oh,
Right on.
that is handy.
Yeah, you can work and take a nap all at the same time.
Yeah.
You have to clean up before you can take a nap.
Oh, you know.
So, and I separate my pastels by color. I have my cooler and warmer colors separated in most cases. And
Do you go by the rainbow, or do you organize by Roy G. Biv? What's your system?
it varies depending on what I'm doing. Like right now, I'm working on these flamingos. So I wanted to put the colors that I'm using the most closer by my hand here. So I've got my pinks, reds, purples, oranges kind of closer to my hand. But other times I might do it differently.
So why do you have so many of each color? Like you have so many lavender. Why do you have so many multiple?
You
pastel?
would be amazed at how many different colors. It's not like oil painting where you can just take the basic colors and make the color you want. You can blend with pastels, but oftentimes you just want to lay that pure color on and not do the blending. So, and one reason you want to lay that pure color on is with a pastel, it's a chalk. It's a powdery texture. And you should never do this. Don't ever do this.
Why shouldn't we do this?
Because they're toxic.
Oh.
All right, so you don't want to eat that.
So anyway, but you can see, and then what happens is you have these little fine powdery substance, and each little particle reflects the light. And so you get color and light reflection that you don't get with paint. So that's why you just want to lay it down. I'll just make a mark with this up here. Let's turn this light on. Is that better? So I could just make a mark with that, and it's really going to reflect the light.
Oh yeah, right on.
So
So I got a question for you. Those
Okay.
all those pieces you have there, they're all different sizes. How small do they get before you actually have to throw them away, or what do you do with them when they get too small that you can't use?
Well, I haven't done this, but you can take the itty bitty pieces and crush them and make some really nice mauves by mixing them with a binder. I know some people who do it. I don't. I just stick them in a container and for someday. But other times you'll have one. Let me see if I can find one. I think I put one today. You'll have a really tiny one like this.
Yeah.
That will be really nice for making, if you want a really hard line. If I want to make a real hard line, that little tiny one will have a really sharp edge on it, and it'll be easier to do.
Okay.
And
Cool
you
deal.
can also, lay them on their side and make marks with them. So even a tiny one like that is quite useful.
Now, does pastel dry?
Pastels are dry to begin with, and they are, as soon as you put them on, they're on. So there's no drying. You can wet pastels and use alcohol to create an underpainting sometimes. Sometimes I do that. I use just about every technique that is possible with pastels. I'm all over the place with my subject matter, my sizes. I work from, I think the largest painting I did was a 5x12. That was a dripped canvas that I did for my son. I do a lot of pourings, like this rug. I'm using this rug, one of my paintings, as a rug right now to keep the pastel off the.
Wait, so.
But this is not pastel. The rug is an acrylic painting. Let me show you this technique. We'll start with this technique. This is one that I use. This is masonite from the hardware store. I put a gesso on it with a, let me grab this, with a pastel ground. It is a primer. It's an acrylic primer that has sand, a very fine sand in it.
Oh, cool. Well, we have a question from the chat room here.
Okay.
Patty asks, where did you learn to paint?
Where did I learn to paint? Let's see. I am so blessed to have been involved with nonprofit arts organizations for I don't know how many years, 30 years about. And I have been around many fabulous painters in classes. I used to, when I couldn't afford to take classes, I would model for classes. I learned so much. And again, this is, back to what we're talking about, making the most of a less than perfect situation. So I modeled, I learned, I got to attend the classes, and everybody won. So anyway.
Right on.
So we have, so what I've done is I've put the gesso down, and with this pumice, this acrylic pumice, now you have to wait for that to dry. And then you have, I wish you could feel this. It's like a very, very fine sanded paper. Like the finest sandpaper you can get is what this feels like. And the reason you use a sanded surface is because it will hold that pastel. It will just grab it and it will stay there. You can see down here, I have a lot of, pastel will fall off as you're working.
Question.
Go ahead.
You had mentioned, and I know that especially some particular colors of pastels are more on the more toxic side. Are you using gloves? I know some artists will use gloves when they are doing a lot of pastel work. Do you do that, or do you just wash your hands, take precaution?
I have started using gloves. When I first started, I did not. I just washed my hands, but now I have started to use gloves. And that's the best practice. Also, the best practice is to not have fans or a whole lot of moving air. Don't be tempted to blow on the pastel. So you want to keep the dust from moving around as much as possible. And some people who are painting, all day, every day, or have respiratory problems can even use a mask to keep from breathing the dust, because it, like I said, it can be toxic. But what I've done here is I did my sketch. I did a loose sketch with pastels of just my shapes. And then I came in with acrylic paints, just whatever I had on hand here. And I blocked out the colors just to kind of give me a map. And I just did this with paint. And I put it on thin so that I can still feel that sanded area there. So this is just the blocked in paint over the surface. When I do a series like this, I like to work with both at the same time, because I find that from one day to the next, my marks will look a little different, or they just won't be the same. So I try to do them together. And what I'll probably wind up doing is putting a larger board here and just putting both of these up here and working on them together. But I wanted to show you the steps. So that's that. So I did the same thing here. And then I've started to lay in my color. A lot of pastel artists start with, and the schooled way to do this is to start with your darkest colors and then work your way toward the highlights. I work all over the place. I like to do my darkest and my lightest so that I have a frame of reference. And then I kind of work toward the middle, if that makes sense. So anyway, I'm into this one, but it still has a long way to go. I do have, I may leave this background. This is paint. And what I'll probably do, because can you see this, this pastel is falling.
Oh, yeah.
I could, if I was really doing the right thing, I would tilt it. I could tilt my easel forward so that it wouldn't fall on there. I'll do that later. But I do have some. So after I finish this painting, I'll probably come back with another layer of this paint and make a nice solid background. When I first started painting, talk about making the best of a bad situation. I didn't have any place to paint. So I would take a bed sheet, and spread it out on my bed, and take a board like this with my paper clipped to it and one box of Rembrandt pastels. And I would make my art like that. And then I would pick up my bed sheet and take it somewhere. And again, not the ideal situation, but my mama says, where there's a will, there's a way. So that's how I started out. So, hey, I forgot to show the giveaway.
Okay.
Please do, because I hear that there's a choice. Whoever wins gets to choose between these two.
Yeah. So I have another series I did recently for the coastal kind of series is this beach bag series. This is a print from an original 4x6. Is that better?
No, we see it. It's great. I love it. And look, your pastels look so photorealistic, at least through the screen. These are beautiful.
Thank
Was
you.
Chuck Close influential on you, or photorealism in general?
I would like to be more painterly, but it does seem like they kind of become more realistic. This, I think you saw the original. This is a print. I have a fantastic printer who does a beautiful job. I hate to say this because I would like to sell originals, but the prints are almost hard to distinguish from the originals.
Wow.
He does a really great job. So where to go from here? I want to talk about my new studio just a little while. I'm going to have a room about the size of this one. It's going to be about 12 foot square, but it will be designated. It will be in my house. I'm right next to the kitchen, and I'm real excited about that. It's going to have a little sink where I can wash the pastel off my hands. And I'm starting to collect some things for my studio, like this printers. Look at this printers.
Oh, wow. Is that where you're going to store your pastels?
I think I will. Don't you think they would be cool in here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll probably put some kind of liner in there, and then just put pastels in there. And then I got these wonderful sewing machine box drawers.
Those are great. Where do you find these things? Are you garage sailing?
Yeah, I like
Antiquing?
garage sale, Castaways.
Castaways for
Yes.
everyone. Castaways is the thrift store, or one of the thrift stores in Rockport.
Yes.
You have more than that?
Look at this. See, as I'm working, the colors that I use, as I choose a color, I want to hold it out and keep it separate from here so I don't have to find it again. So look at this
That's
awesome
a great chair. Where'd you get that tray?
Castaways.
Is that wood? Is there glass? What is that?
It looks like a really wonderful wood with glass, so I can just wash it.
Oh, yes, because all that dust will get on it.
So I love finding interesting things to use that are not like, things that you buy from the art supply store. In my old studio, I had a lot of crocks that I kept my brushes and pencils and things, like old ceramic crocks and just interesting things like that. I love that. So my new studio is going to have lots of vintage things, and I'll invite everybody back to my new studio.
Fantastic.
We should be moving in at the end of the year.
Really? Oh, wonderful. So the 2021 tour, will we be including your studio?
It's a possibility.
I'm just hinting, I'm always recruiting. So if you are an artist out there in Rockport and interested in joining, or interested in joining next year's tour, give me an email. My email address is on the Rockport Center for the Arts website. Need some pictures, because we definitely want to make sure we have to ensure quality. But please join, reach out. It's a great fun, and you get to be on YouTube.
Yeah, right on.
So what are you doing now, Debbie?
Well, I'm going to do a little demo for this one. Oh, hi, there you are. For this one, I'm going to use, like I said, I use all different types of surfaces. I have used, one of my favorite surfaces is hot pressed watercolor paper with an underpainting, either a watercolor or an acrylic wash for an underpainting, and then I come over that with pastels. This is a pastel surface. It's a gator board with the sanded surface on it.
And gator board, for folks at home, that's a pretty stiff board. It's kind of thick, but it's kind of like a solid foam core. I would say a little more sturdy foam core.
Yeah, it's a little denser. You're not
Yeah.
gonna be able to squeeze it with your fingers and leave a mark in it.
Yeah, it's more
but
permanent. It
it's
doesn't
about
warp.
It's about the same thickness, and I'm sure it's probably, you know, all acid perfect and everything.
Do you mean acid free or or acidic?
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's
Acid.
it's gonna last forever.
Yes.
Okay, let's see. I'm gonna see if I can clip this on just barely with my potato chip clips.
I love all your repurposing.
Yeah. The hardware store is the best place for art supplies.
Yeah, you know, a couple weeks ago, Barbara Sparkman was telling us just that. She was pointing to our local Ace Hardware. Salome's Ace Hardware is one of our amazing sponsors and apparently one of the best art supply stores in Rockport. I got a smile out of Barbara.
I'm sure. Okay. I often use my iPad. I take photographs and then I put them in editing. On this one, I just cropped it down a lot and I edited it to a very vivid, dramatic color, and that lets me cheat a little bit.
Oh,
I also
so you kind
have
of do a draft digitally.
Yeah, it's that I cropped it down so much that it looks grainy, so it kind of already looks like a painting. So I get to cheat. That helps me cheat.
What I'm loving to hear is the stages and steps of your creative process. The fact that you're using technology to, as you say, cheat or get ahead or do a draft, and then how you watercolor and kind of outline either in acrylic or watercolor your colors so that it's easier for you to guide. I love seeing how you get from the beginning to the end. Thank you.
Sure. This one, I'm going to use a different approach though. And because it's a smaller area, it's easier for me to just dive right in with my pastels. So I'm gonna just work on this, and when you want me to stop, I'll stop. And while I'm working, I'm gonna tell you some stories about my last studio. How's that?
I like it. What do you miss about your last studio?
Well, my last studio was in the Texas Hill Country, way out in Hunt. If anybody went to like Camp Mystic or Heart of the Hills, we were a little bit further out than that. So we were way out. We had, I could frequently watch the deer and different animals come around my studio while I was working. I would often have visitors. In fact,
What's the climate? How is it different over in the hill country than the coast?
it's
No humidity.
drier. It's still very hot. It's amazing. The winter is, I think, where there's the most difference. And that is, and in the winter, we have a lot of freezing. There were a lot of freezing nights.
Yeah, it very rarely gets under freezing down here in Rockport.
Yeah, rarely. But in the hill country, you could often have, freezing temperatures night after night.
And just for folks who aren't from around here, about how far a drive is where you were living from Rockport?
About 4 hours, 4.5 hours from here.
And
Okay.
Texas is a very big state.
Yeah, so I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so I'll have a sketch. And I'm gonna start with that big blue sky.
So Debbie, from your last studio, what did you learn that you wanted in your new studio?
Air conditioning,
Woo, that's a big one.
heat.
Oh, wow, you're gonna be spoiled.
I wanted to be alone, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah, why?
One time I was sitting, I usually stand, but that day I was sitting in my studio and I was painting, and I kept smelling something kind of unpleasant. And so I thought maybe it was the cat's litter box.
Ooh.
So I cleaned the litter box and it didn't go away. So I mopped the floor. This is while I'm trying to paint. I mopped the floor. It still didn't go away. And I was like, oh man, that is really bad. I don't know what that is. So anyway, I got back to painting because, you know, nothing I could do was making it any better. So I painted, and a little later, my dog came out and he became obsessed with something under this antique file cabinet that I had. And, oh, I forgot my glove. Hang on. So I got the flashlight and I looked, and there was a live skunk under.
No way.
Yeah. So he had come in. He
Wasn't
It was
a
your
pet skunk,
studio
I take
mate?
it.
He hadn't sprayed, but he didn't smell that good.
I bet.
So I got him out eventually, but anyway, so I had birds nesting in my studio.
Were you in a barn?
It was actually just a little.
I mean, I'm not knocking barns. I like barns, but.
It was a little building, but it had a little softwood in the door. And the raccoons would like to go in there for cat food. So they made a hole in the softwood and they went in to eat the cat food. So then they made a way for birds and skunks and anybody else to go in.
Oh my.
So it was fun. I had for a while this really neat little female tarantula.
I have a question for you.
Elsa has a question.
Okay.
How many layers of pastel can you put on before it starts not adhering? And how do you tell a female for a tarantula?
Okay.
It's amazing what you learn.
Is the female tarantula is the easy part. The females don't go anywhere. They stay very near their what do you call that, burrow or whatever, and they don't really travel. The males are the ones who come out and travel. So if you see one, like, you know, you see them crossing the road, those are probably males. The females you won't usually see for that reason. So.
Well, excellent. Debbie,
And the other, what was the other question?
How many layers before it starts not grabbing?
Well, I don't know, but you're right. It will stop. You will get too much on there that it has filled that that grit, that tooth, and then you just either have to stop, or the other thing you can do is let me grab a brush a paintbrush. Did y'all see my brushes?
No, we haven't. You gonna show us some brushes?
Huh.
I'm addicted to brushes.
Okay. What's the most special brush you have in that whole bucket?
Oh,
That's what I
wait.
want to. That's what I want to see.
Is this the most beautiful thing you've ever seen?
And why do you like
What?
that one so much?
Yeah.
Pretty?
Is it sable hair? What kind of hair is it?
I don't know. It's made in Barcelona, Spain.
I have some of those.
Escoda.
What do you like about that one?
It's just beautiful. I've never used it. It's just pretty. I thought about making it into a pole.
Ooh,
Wouldn't that be
Oh,
great?
that would be
that's a
nice.
terrific idea.
Yeah. So anyway,
Your new
This one-
studio is coming together. I can see it.
this one's really pretty as well. I've never used it either. But it's just a thing of beauty. Okay. So what I'm looking for now is a little coarse brush that I don't really care about. And I'm just gonna, you can just take it and just knock it off. Can you see it falling off?
Not quite, but I trust you. I believe you.
So you can knock it off. If you get it built up too much, you can just take it off. And then
Right.
you've got tooth again. I'm going to come in here with some really light. Whoops. Oh, you don't want to do that.
Oh, that's why you have the blanket on the floor.
Right. And then I'll
Whoops.
step on it. So I'm going to use some really light in here so that I get the contrast, because that's where I'm going to have those dark colors. So I'm going to blend that in. Whoops. And sometimes some artists never blend their pastels. They just lay them on and don't blend. I only do that in classes where the teacher gets mad at me if I blend. And I usually blend in the beginning of my painting, and then as I get closer to the end, I blend less, and then I just lay on those colors. And
Debbie, about how long would a piece like this take you to complete?
I could probably do this one in a few minutes, really. Maybe an
Really?
hour. Maybe an hour if I concentrate it.
So your pastel colors, what do they usually run as far as cost wise? If someone was to get into this,
When I first started, I used Rembrandt pastels, and I guess you can get a decent sized box of Rembrandts for about $50 of colors. And when I first started, I did blend my colors because I didn't have that many colors to use. So
how many would you say you have now? How many colors?
how many dollars?
Colors.
Colors.
Oh,
Shades.
I was
tones.
gonna say, don't even get me to talking about that. Gosh, I don't know.
Let's take a wild
100?
guess. 100. All right.
500 maybe.
500.
500. 5. Right on. Okay. So,
Mhm.
so now you have 500, but you started out with like 50, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think I did some of my best paintings with a little box of about, really there might have only been about 30 colors. And I really think I did some beautiful paintings with those few little colors.
I
say never put a triangle in the corner, and I always do. I can't stop myself.
Who has anyone else heard that? Juliana's nodding her head. You see?
I don't know.
I don't know if I've ever seen that. I mean, or heard that. But
It's a
Debbie,
rule that I just break unintentionally every time.
They
rules
say
are
it's
meant to
like
be broken.
distracting to the composition or something like that.
Say that again, Juliana.
They say it's like distracting to the composition. It like draws your eye down to it instead of
Well,
Debbie, while you're doing that, I'm going to take a moment to thank our sponsors.
okay.
Okay. So here we are. Let's see. And today I want to thank First Community Bank. First Community Bank is an amazing sponsor. They are our first sponsor here, our title sponsor. Oops, hold on just 1 second. I have to share again. Share. Here we go. Wrong screen. And they are our title sponsor. They do have some great ATMs that you can do all your banking needs right there without even talking to a person. They are on Business 35 right in Rockport, and they are a proud sponsor of the Art Festival. And I just want to give a shout out to our board member, Eric Heller, and his wife, Cheryl. They are our chairs of this year's committee. Thank you so much. Also want to give a shout out to Prosperity Bank. They are our proud supporters of the arts. They are also on Business 35 and proud sponsors of the Art Festival, as well as the Art Studio Tour. So please stop by Prosperity Bank. There are some friendly folks there, and they'll help you out with any of your needs. And if you're looking to visit Rockport and then maybe become a resident, you'll want to reach out to our sponsor, Karen Mella. Karen Mella is one of our sponsors for the Rockport Studio Tour and Studio Tour Live, as well as an underwriter for our upcoming Art Fest. Karen Mella, she gets it noticed, gets it sold, and trust me, she is selling a lot right now as people are looking for drivable destinations. So let's get back to our studio tour with Debbie. Debbie, how's that go? Wow, you did make some progress. I was only gone for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Right on. That looks
Excellent. So we are wrapping up about the end of the hour. We're wondering if maybe we can go ahead and do the giveaway while you continue to work.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, so right on. Let me get in the chat room there.
You take it away.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to do 1 through 40 in our chat room, 1 through 40. So if you have a number between 1 through 40, plug it in that chat room there, and then we'll get to it here in a few moments. In the meantime, if you haven't already liked our little demo here, please hit the thumbs up for Debbie. She would surely appreciate it. And then we'd also like you to go ahead and hit that little subscribe button down there in the right hand corner. That'll let you know when we go live and all this stuff happens each and every week. So with that said, I guess we'll give them a few more minutes to start plugging in some numbers. So if you haven't started plugging in your numbers, please plug them in. We got I see a 23, a 17. So yeah, some numbers are coming in. We'll give them a few more moments here. These are the pictures that you'll get to choose from, or these are the paintings you'll get to choose from that you guys can see. Yeah,
and these are
some
great
fishes.
Pastels. They're so photorealistic. Yeah. They are prints of originals. So they are great for hanging on your wall. They're nice and small. So yeah, everyone has a little spot where they can, they need a pop of color or some very gorgeous beachwear or coastal apparel. These pieces are great for that. Let's see, we only have 3 numbers in here. Please, everyone watching, please go ahead and put in a few more numbers.
If I could put my number in, I want that one on the left with all the fishes.
You know, I'm going to just say, artists, go ahead, put your numbers in.
Oh. All right. So we got a few coming in now. Let's see.
All right, let's go ahead and let's give it a couple more minutes. Yeah. We'll get these as she's going away, taking on. Yeah. That drawing is really coming along.
Oh yeah, look at that. Right on. Looking really good. Really, really good. All right, so there's a number 2 we got. 13, 17, 23. We got them coming in. All right, give them a couple more moments here. Let's see.
All right. Okay. Now I'm serious. Where the audience isn't quite putting in their numbers right now. So artists, if you want to chip, just let me know. Chat, you can tell me your number. Yeah, Vivian, thank you. She picked 34.
Okay. Right on, right on.
Doc, you want to put in your number? Because
Sure,
we
I'll
can put
put in.
ours in on the chat. Well, I'll just type them in. Doc, what's your number? I'll type yours in.
122.
All right.
I'm kidding. It's 1 through 40, remember?
I just did it. I'm so gullible.
I'm just so yeah. I don't think it'd be fair if I won because I'm the one hitting the button on the random generator. So I don't know that'd be fair.
All right.
I feel guilty.
We have a comment from Julie Vickers in our chat room. She said she loves seeing your lure paintings at A Inspired Shop in Rockport.
Yeah.
So that's one of our local businesses right on Business 35. It is right, the Bay Inspired. They have some wonderful home decor items as well as a nice boutique of clothing right next door, and including apparently Debbie Minns work. Debbie, where else do you sell your artwork?
I have right now in Rockport, I have some work at Latitude 2802.
Latitude 2802 is a great restaurant here in town.
She has, Ramona has a lot of my cactus paintings, some of my hill country pieces.
They have a lot of artwork in their gallery there at Latitudes. I'm always impressed. It just keeps on going.
Yeah.
I want to say one thing I want to say about pastels is that they have different hardnesses. They're all called soft pastels, but for example, the Rembrandt is going to be a medium hardness. It's just like a pencil, a number 2 or the number of pencil it is. It's going to be harder. I have this set of pastels. This is a I'm drawing a blank. Terry Ludwig pastels. And they are like butter. You really don't want to drop one of those because they will shatter. And when the color comes off, and you can see the difference. I've been working with a harder one. I'm going to make some marks with this softer, with a softer pastel right now. And just to show you the difference.
So Debbie, why do you work with a glove? Why are you using gloves? Is it just making it easier for your to clean up your hands?
No, because they are toxic.
Yeah.
They are toxic, and I used to jokingly say that I didn't wear gloves because that way, if I went crazy, I would have a good excuse. But then I decided I didn't want to go crazy, so I started wearing gloves. And they're somewhat inhibiting, but not too bad.
Right on, right on. All right, well, let's get back to that. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen and then we can pick a number. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
All right, so let me go here to share. And I'm gonna share that one. And let's see right there and share. Now everybody should be able to see my screen there. There we go, 1 through 40. All right, so I think we got quite a few numbers in there. I think there was one duplicate. I think Debra had a duplicate number there. So if she wants to pick a number real quick before I hit the generate button, that'd be great. Other than that, we'll get countdown. 1, 2, 3, and here we go, generate. Number is number 8. And Price is Right rules. So who's closest to number 8? Let's see. I'll stop sharing here. And we'll go back and we'll see who's close to number 8. I got a number 13. I got then we have a number 3, a number 5.
For 14, 13 is the closest with our Price is Right rules.
Yep.
Without going over. So Julie Vickers, you get to win
Right
again. Woo! So Julie, reach out to me by email and we'll connect you with Debbie, and you can pick which of her prints you would like, and Debbie will get that to you. Wonderful.
Right on. Cool deal.
Great. So I just want to bring it on back and mention, thank you so much for inviting us into your studio today. It was very fun. I love to learn about the whole process of the steps involved of getting to a project, because it never happens all in one sitting, and it definitely takes more planning than that. So from all of us to all of you out there in the interwebs, think of us, think of Rockport, and we'll see you next week, where we have, oh, I forgot to mention Debra Connor. Debra Connor will be our featured guest next week. Her and her little birdie right there that she rescued. And she will be showing us what pottery she's making and throwing in. Will you be throwing in porcelain or ceramics or clay?
I'll be doing porcelain. I could do a red stoneware, but I think that the porcelain will video better.
Well, excellent.
Okay.
So it's going to be an action-packed episode next week with Debra Connor, and we look so forward to seeing that. Thank you, everyone. Debbie, will you show us next week how this turns out?
Oh, sure.
Wonderful.
Right on. Right
Great.
on.
From all of us to all of you, everyone say bye to the folks out there. Thank you, YouTube. We'll see you next week.
All right.